All right, hello everyone and welcome. Think of me as your professor for today. We're about to assemble a really unique kind of toolkit. See, this one doesn't have hammers or wrenches. It has words. We're going to explore the essential vocabulary of invention, the language that really shapes how we talk about and understand our constantly changing world. I mean, just look at this transformation. It's absolutely astounding, isn't it? On one side, you have the world of steam and coal, the world that forged the 19th century, and on the other, the slick, digital, interconnected world we're all living in today. You know, the story of how we got from there to here, well, that's the story of human ingenuity itself. But here's the big question. How do we actually talk about this kind of progress with any precision? How do we describe that little spark of an idea, its journey into a real product, and the huge impact it has on all of us? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. Build a vocabulary that lets us speak about innovation with real clarity and confidence. Okay, let's dive right in. Our first chapter here is all about the verbs. You know, the action words. These are the fundamental actions that bring ideas to life. I want you to think of it as a four-step journey. First, as you can see, you invent, you create something that's totally new. Then you design it, you make the plan for it. After that, you develop it, you improve it, and finally, you innovate by introducing these new ideas and methods out into the world. Each step is totally distinct, but they all have to work together to really drive progress. So let's start at the beginning. Invent. This is that little bit of magic, right? The act of creating something from absolutely nothing. You got to think of someone like Alexander Graham Bell. Before him, the telephone just didn't exist. He brought a brand new concept into the world. That is a pure, powerful invention. But you know, a brilliant idea is really just a ghost without a body. And that's where design comes into play. To design something is to give that idea a blueprint, a real, tangible plan that shows how you're actually going to build it. It's the absolutely crucial step that takes a concept and turns it into a potential reality. Next up, we develop. Look, very few inventions are perfect right out of the gate. To develop is to take that initial design and to refine it, to improve on it, and to make it way more advanced. It's that long, sometimes messy process of turning a clunky first prototype into a sleek, efficient product. And finally, we innovate. Now, what's really interesting here is that last word on the slide, methods. This is so important. To innovate isn't just about making new things. It's about introducing new ways of doing things. It's the process that truly changes our behavior and drives society forward. Okay, let's grab the next set of tools for our toolkit. Now that we've got the action words down, we need some powerful, descriptive terms for those inventions that have a massive impact. You know, the ones that change, well, everything. A breakthrough. I mean, the word itself just sounds powerful, doesn't it? It describes a major discovery that just smashes through a barrier. So when scientists create a new vaccine that can stop a pandemic, well, that is a monumental medical breakthrough. It solves a huge problem for all of humanity. And this right here is a perfect example of our next term, a game changer. This is an invention so significant that it completely rewrites the rules of how we live or work or play. The internet, the smartphone, these things didn't just improve on what we had. They created entirely new games for all of us to play. And you know, sometimes an idea doesn't just grow slowly. It just explodes in popularity. We say it takes the world by storm. But for an idea to do that, it first has to catch on. Just think about wearable fitness trackers. At first, only a few people had them, right? But then the idea started to catch on, and suddenly, poof, they took the world by storm. But here's the thing about technology. It never, ever stands still. So, for our next module, let's add some words to our toolkit that describe where an invention stands in the relentless march of time. So here we have two terms that sound pretty similar, but there's a really key difference. On the left, you've got cutting edge. This refers to the absolute newest, most advanced stage of development, what's happening in research labs right now. On the right, you've got state of the art. That's the best, most modern version that's available to the public today. So think of it this way. Cutting edge is the lab, state-of-the-art is what's in the store. And for a perfect example of state-of-the-art technology, look no further than the device that's probably in your pocket right now. Your smartphone is a supercomputer, a professional camera, and a global navigation system all rolled into one. It is, at least for now, the most modern version available. But that state-of-the-art crown is heavy, and it never rests on one head for very long. Eventually, today's high-tech marvel becomes tomorrow's relic. It becomes obsolete. This just means it's no longer in use, kind of like the pager. It was once essential, but now it's been completely replaced by the mobile phone. So here's a question for all of you. Take a second and think about it. What was once a world-changing breakthrough, a total game changer, but is now completely obsolete? The telegraph is a fantastic example. It was literally the internet of its day. And now, well, now it belongs in a museum. All right, class, you have done the work. You've gathered all the tools. Now it's time to put our new vocabulary into practice. Let's do a quick review, just to make sure all these tools are sharp. Okay, let's have a look at the screen. The smartphone, well, that's a no-brainer. It's absolutely a game changer. The telegraph, yeah, as we just talked about, it's now totally obsolete. And what about flying cars? Well, we can say, with a little bit of hope, it won't be long before they're a reality. And now for your final challenge. Think of it as your homework. I want you to take this great phrase, to turn something on its head. It basically just means to completely rethink it from a totally new perspective. So my question is, how would you turn the design of an everyday object, like a fork or a backpack, completely on its head? Because the whole point of this is that having the right words, the right language, is the key to imagining that future. Keep asking questions. Thanks for joining me today.